Dipset might be what made Cameron a star, but it wasn't what kept him relevant. The interesting part of Cameron's story is what he did when that chapter was no longer enough. He kept finding new lanes, and that's really the business lesson here. When one thing stopped working, you better know how to create the next thing. Let's hear how Cameron looks at his whole entire career.
What's good, man? What's the word, man?
What's up, nigga? Wait, before I get into you got high expectations. Mm-hmm. If you didn't turn out, it's a two-part question. How would you judge your career as an entertainer? That's the first one. Let's get to the first one. How would you judge, if you were stepping outside of Cam and looking, how would you judge your career?
How would I judge my career as an entertainer? On a scale of 1 to 10, probably an 8. Probably an 8, maybe an 8.5. Because of my longevity.
And that's the part I think people miss. Longevity isn't about staying famous. It's about staying useful. Cam had Dipset, but he didn't make the mistake of thinking Dipset was the only thing he could ever be. He kept adding new skills, relationships, and business lanes to his portfolio. That's how you survive when the thing that originally made you valuable starts changing.
Like, my longevity, it's 30 years next year that I've been doing this professionally. And I'm at the height of my shit. Like, reinventing yourself is not easy. You know what I'm saying? You have to reinvent yourself. You got to think about this. I came in doing mixtapes, then I got a record deal.
Now look at the pattern here. Cam isn't really talking about changing careers. He's talking about stacking careers. Every move gave him another asset he could carry on to the next chapter. And that's a completely different way of thinking about your career. Instead of asking, what's my next hit? You start asking, what can I build from what I already have? And that's a much more sustainable game.
I got a gold album, then I got a platinum album, then I put on a crew, named the crew Dipset, then I had artists that sold gold, then I had a fucking Diplomat album that went gold. Then other people that I dealt with, they were successful. Then you throw the fashion into it. Every year, nigga dressed like me for Halloween with the pink on and the phone and everything else. Then I'm part of a culturally, like one of the best urban movies ever when you talk about Paid in Full. And, you compare that to, Belly, Immense Society, or Boys in the Hood, shit like that. And then navigating business with clothing and so on and so forth. And then just come back and start doing sports. And, starting a sports podcast 3 years ago, then being on ESPN the last 4 months on the biggest show on ESPN. As long as doing the podcast here with you and putting on other people's podcasts. My shit been electric. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy, though. I'm not sitting there acting like everything I just said was 1, 2, 3.
And honestly, this might be the most important part of the whole conversation. We usually look at somebody successful and only see the wins. Cam is basically telling you there was a bunch of ideas behind all of this. That's business. You're not going to reinvent yourself perfectly every single time. The advantage is being willing to keep moving until you find something that works.
I think about a bunch of shit that I tried to do that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? I did mad shit that didn't work, but if you say how I'm judging it, I'm not. Y'all say I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm gonna take the halfway, 7.5, 8. Because I may not have sold as many records as Jay-Z or been as big as Jay-Z or Nas. It's a lot of people way, way more successful in music. Even though I think I did pretty well in doing music as well. But it's a lot of them niggas that can't do what I do or don't have the personality that I have or can sit there and, we're jumping into a bunch of different platforms when I'm talking about music, fashion, acting, writing movies, producing movies, directing movies, knowing sports. People think like, yo, when you look at things and be like, yo, this shit is easy, man. I go up there and I talk my sports. I say my shit. Y'all don't realize we kind of changed the landscape of that to where niggas is cursing on ESPN at 12 in the afternoon. Everybody got a podcast. Not saying niggas ain't have a podcast before, but niggas like, yo, if Cam and Mace could do it, we could do it too. So I just think how people look at sports the last 2-3 years or how they give takes on sports is totally different. Then you have to think about navigating that from the internet to being on a nationally televised show on cable or ESPN, which is in 100 million homes, and having a, I can still be Cam, but I can't be over there like, man, fuck that, Stephen A. I can't get up there and be like, fuck is you talking about? You got to be able to have different temperaments in different rooms, you know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to Stephen A. and thank you for the opportunity at ESPN and Disney and all that shit. But yeah, I would say it's 7.5, 8, man. You know what I mean? So I think I've done pretty well for the last 30 joints, especially reinventing myself. Yeah, I take the over, my nigga. Next show, BB, we getting Will in here, man. I'm getting my nigga Will a chair, man. We gonna get him in here next show, man.
Because the high expectations thing. All right, so because you just said, I know it sounds crazy when I say working 5 days for 10 months or whatever. So if he wasn't a rapper, ball player, what job you think you would have been involved in? Because I can't see you doing customer service, anything customer service. I can't see that. Manual labor, hell no. I asked you to help me load a treadmill that you gave me on a truck one time, and you looked at me like I was crazy. So no manual labor. So what job would you think you would have done?
I had a couple jobs. I worked in a sneaker store before, and then I was a paper boy when I was 11. I delivered newspapers. Jobs aren't good for me. Anytime I had a job, I had a couple jobs I won't say right here. I probably had like 4 jobs in my career, maybe 5.
And that's really the story of Cameron right there. Dipset was a huge part of his rise, but it wasn't the end of his story. He took the attention, the personality, the relationships, and the credibility he built, and he kept turning those things into new opportunities. But it does make you wonder, could Cameron have built this same kind of longevity if Dipset never happened? And when Cameron says that he may have not have sold as many records as Jay-Z or Nas, but can do things they can't because of his personality and versatility, is that actually the better measure of success? Because at the end of the day, is having the biggest numbers the same thing as building the most valuable career? Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section. And make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.